Did your city make the list? If you have asthma, where you live makes a difference. High pollen counts and smog lead to flare-ups, and controlling symptoms can be tricky if your area is short on doctors. Every year, the Asthma and Allergy Foundation of America, AFA, looks at these and other medical and environmental factors, then ranks the 100 hardest places in the U.S. for people with asthma. Here are 2015's top asthma capitals. Chicago air quality in Chi-Town is poor, thanks to many days of high soot and smog levels. The city has an above-average number of ER visits and deaths because of asthma. Also, 38% of people in the region are uninsured, making it hard for them to control their symptoms or afford medicine. Some asthma inhalers cost close to $800 a month. New Orleans, like other cities on the list, poverty and lack of health insurance factor into NOLA's higher than average death rate due to asthma. But the city's hot, humid weather also makes breathing harder. Allergens in the environment are a problem here, too. The Big Easy has a high pollen score, and 2005's Hurricane Katrina left an unhealthy legacy of indoor mold. Both can make breathing easy a serious struggle. Chattanooga, TN air quality isn't the problem here. In the past year, Chattanooga has slashed pollution and is now considered one of the nation's cleanest cities. Still, its non-smoking laws are weak. 20% of adults and 17% of high school students are smokers. A low number of asthma specialists in the area means ER visits are high. Knoxville, TN. The AFA also lists Knoxville as one of the worst for spring allergies, thanks to high levels of tree and grass pollen. Both can cause asthma symptoms to flare. But that might not be the only reason for higher than average use of asthma medicines here. Studies show a link between weight gain and asthma. And in 2010, nearly 2/3 of people living here were overweight or obese. Augusta, GA, located 150 miles from Atlanta, the Garden City of the South, is the second largest and second mildest city in Georgia. It's also the worst in the state for people with asthma. In just 2 years, nearly a dozen children in and around Augusta died from the condition. The area has a high pollen count, and non-smoking laws also aren't up to snuff. An effort to ban smoking from bars and public places has failed 3 times in recent years. Oklahoma City, as many as 23% of Sooners living in Oklahoma County have no health insurance. That, along with a serious lack of asthma specialists in the area, can make it hard for people to get the medical care they need. It doesn't help that Oklahoma City is ranked 15th out of 220 cities for high ozone days. Ozone, which is more common on hot, humid days, can make asthma symptoms worse. Detroit, the Motor City, has a better than average pollen count, and its public smoking laws are on par with the rest of the U.S. still. Asthma rates here are 50% higher than the rest of Michigan. Many residents use quick-relief asthma inhalers, which means their disease isn't well controlled. While the air is a risk factor, some experts believe a bigger problem is that many residents are poor and uninsured. Philadelphia emergency room visits for asthma in the city of brotherly love are higher than average. The disease sends more than 16,000 kids to the ER each year. Since many who have the condition here live in low-income neighborhoods, a community asthma prevention program offers free home visits to explain how to control triggers like house dust and animal dander. Up to 60% of residents with asthma are also allergic to cockroaches. Richmond, VA. With its rich Civil War history, this town is popular with vacationers. But it's not such a great place to live if you have asthma. Smog is a problem, especially in the hot, humid summer months. The city also has higher than average rates of people living in poverty and without insurance. They're more likely to have asthma in part because they're around more allergens at work and home. Memphis, TN. About 14% of kids here have asthma. It causes 40% of stays at the city's Labanhair Children's Hospital. But a lot of ER visits and high use of asthma meds aren't the only reasons the home of the Blues nabbed this year's #1 spot. Local steel and food processing plants pollute the air. An above-average pollen count and poor non-smoking laws don't help, either. Brighter spots for asthma: of the 100 cities ranked, these 10 are the best. For the most part, they have less poverty, better school asthma programs, and better access to health care. But they also have cleaner air and good smoking bans. The result: fewer visits and deaths, and easier living with asthma. Here's the list. 10. Austin, TX9. Raleigh, NC8. Sarasota, FL7. Cape Coral, FL6. Palm Bay, FL5. Abilene, TX4. San Jose, California 3. Seattle 2. Boise, ID1. San Francisco,